So I've worked with about 1,000 e-commerce businesses doing hundreds of millions of dollars and billions of dollars in revenue collectively. And there are common mistakes that all businesses make often when they're moving to Shopify Plus or really any platform, when they're migrating platform to platform. And some of these mistakes cost a fortune. Some of these mistakes end up doubling or tripling the time, effort, and money required to actually do the thing. And so why not avoid them to begin with? Hi there, my name is Kenneth Ott and welcome to Metacake, where we break down the principles behind creating a highly successful e-commerce business. And today I'm going to share with you some of the most costly mistakes I've seen when businesses migrate their e-commerce store to Shopify Plus, or really this can be applied to many other platforms like Magento, BigCommerce Enterprise, etc. This is often when people migrate from Magento to Shopify Plus or Magento to BigCommerce Enterprise. And some of these double and triple the costs. So let's try and avoid that. Many of these will actually surprise you. Just some background on us. We have worked with e-commerce brands for the last 15 or so years, right? We worked with about 1,000 of them. I've coached hundreds and maybe even thousands of entrepreneurs and business owners. These brands are doing 10 million, 50 million, 100 million plus in revenue annually. And so I've gotten to see a lot of mistakes. And we also help a lot of these businesses redesign their stores. We help them redesign their customer journeys. We help them migrate from platform to platform and do it in ways that are not only preserving, but actually propelling the business forward. And that's something that's really, really important. A lot of times I see these painful pitfalls, right? I see these issues. And I thought maybe I'd communicate some of the top ones to you today. A lot of these seem to go against common sense. A lot of these may be things that you were planning to do, and hopefully they help you avoid them. And so let's get right into it. Mistake number one, making decisions based on budget instead of business goals. Here's the funny thing. When you set out to redesign or migrate your site, you're gonna want to make sure that it serves a business goal, right? The only reason you're doing it because there's some business goal behind it. That might be revenue, that might be conversion rate, that may be growing the brand, whatever it may be. That may be adding 10% of revenue to your business. There are several goals, but they have to be business goals. There are certainly business goals behind it. But the funny thing is, many brands then just attach a budget to that. And a lot of times it's an arbitrary budget. And I'm not saying you can have a blank check, but if you attach an arbitrary budget to your project or to this initiative, then your goal becomes getting a website in a budget of X, not your business goal. And I would be really cautious about shifting that goal, right? Because once you shift the goal from helping your business grow 10% or whatever it is, because when you have those goals, you can see the value of those goals and you know what a reasonable investment to achieve that value is, right? Like if this can add $1 million a year, then I don't know, would it be worth $500,000 to achieve the $1 million or whatever it is, right? But the goal is a business goal. But if you attach an arbitrary budget goal and set a budget before you actually explore the opportunity, then you're cutting yourself short because you end up with a goal being, give me a website for X thousand dollars. And that is not necessarily going to get you to your business goals. I see that over and over and over again. So that's mistake number one. Mistake number two, hacking the platform. Hacking the platform is one of the biggest mistakes. It is so easy to do without even knowing it. And it is so costly. It's costly up front. It's costly in the future. And it's costly in the rigidity. It locks you into things. You don't actually get the benefit of the platform. So for example, a lot of people move to Shopify Plus because it's a great platform to launch marketing and it's stable and it's scalable and all these different things, right? In their migration or their design, they unintentionally hack the platform. And they do this oftentimes for a couple reasons. It's is not their fault, but they do this, it just ends up happening because number one, they haven't picked a partner that actually knows the platform, right? So if you don't have a partner who is highly experienced in the platform and has the philosophy of not hacking the platform, then it's going to be hacked. And the problem is a lot of designers, a lot of developers, a lot of website builders like doing really cool stuff, right? Sometimes and often doing really cool stuff means building custom things and hacking things and whatever. If you have someone that you're working with that is not able to translate your business goals into how it would work within the platform best, or they're too scared to push back on you when you ask for something that is going to be something that will end up hacking the platform, then you're going to end up in this situation. So you need someone who's able to guide you through, a trusted, experienced advisor who can translate your goals into how to best leverage the platform, who can actually align with this philosophy of not hacking the platform. Someone who can actually take when you ask for certain design elements, take that and say, okay, you're realizing that if we do it this way, it's gonna have these downsides, but I would adjust it this way. Like, those are the things you want. And the reason this happens is a lot of people go into design from the ground up. They design first, right? They just create this crazy, beautiful thing or this custom thing or whatever, right? And they do that in a vacuum, and they don't really consider, how do we design for the customer and for the tool, which is the platform that we're on, so that we leverage and maximize the results? And how do we do that in a way that pursues the stated business goals? And that's really important. And the truth is, it doesn't happen often because there are not many experienced teams that actually can relate to the business goals, that have run and owned the businesses, right? And so that's something that you want. You want to find someone and a team that understands, here's the business goal we're trying to achieve, here's how we're going to do it, and then and then actually have the skills to actually execute it without hacking the platform. Because once you hack the platform, you lose all the benefit of the platform. Once you hack the platform, it ends up being more costly and many, many, many other things. And so it ends up not being a good move. It ends up being a move that's lateral or worse than where you were before. And you don't want to be where you were before. You want to be moving forward. So that's mistake number 2, hacking the platform. Mistake number 3, not considering your traffic or forgetting about your traffic. The truth is when you migrate and when you change platforms and when you redesign on your store, on your actual current platform, either one, it's going to have impacts on your organic traffic, right? And a lot of that, there's no way of getting around. Like, it will impact it to some degree. It doesn't mean it'll have a long-term impact. Hopefully it has a long-term upside, right? A positive impact, but it can have a negative impact. And the truth is most of the time, this is not thought about when we're thinking about, when businesses are thinking about migrating, because they're just, first of all, they're not, you as the business owner or the business, this is not necessarily your area of expertise. And also, the focus on the shiny new store is so great that sometimes how we keep the traffic and how we improve it and how we don't disrupt it in the transition, sometimes that is actually forgotten or thought of at the last minute, or there aren't the appropriate skills on the team to actually figure out how you mitigate downside and how you improve it. It's important to think about this. Not only that, it's important to not just design a new store. You don't want to design a store. You want to design an optimal customer journey, so that something that takes your customers in at the front end and brings them through a journey that actually sells them the right things and increases the average order value in the right ways, right? Leads them through a journey that creates a fan on the other side, a raving fan that buys from you again and again and again, right? And the way you do that is by an intentional customer journey. You clearly have a product that changes the lives of your customers in some way. It may, even if it's a small product, even if it's a small way, right? And you've created that product for that reason. If you don't design an intentional customer journey, you're not going to optimize those metrics. And if you don't optimize those underlying metrics, then your business goals are not going to be achieved, right? And you're just going to be stagnant, or they're not going to be achieved intentionally. So you want to pursue it with intention, and a designed customer journey is critical to doing that. Also, the partner that you choose is critical to doing that as well, right? If you have a partner that is inexperienced in business, they're not going to be able to create a customer journey that serves the business needs. They might create a nice, beautiful website, but it may not be intentionally created in order to push and improve certain business metrics, which is the only reason why you're doing this. So that's number 3, forgetting about traffic. All right, number 4, setting technology goals instead of business goals. If you can't tell, goal setting is very important in any transition or any website build or any redesign, right? Often the wrong goals get set, and this is not necessarily intentional. It's just because it seems like the right thing to do, but it can cost you a lot of money. And so a lot of people set technology goals instead of business goals. Like, they may set business goals like, hey, I want this to help our business do X. But at the end of the day, you have to be careful. Are you setting technology goals and that are superseding those business goals? So what do I mean by this? Well, oftentimes the choice of platform or the choice of how something's done may be delegated to the marketing director or the CTO or the technology director or the developer or whatever else on your team. Or when you pick a team to help you, it will be set by their specific emphasis. So they may be a marketing company, they may be a technology company, they may be a development company, they may be a design company. So what you have to be careful of is those things actually becoming the goals of this new design, of this new website, of this new migration. Because if they do become that, right? If you set technology goals that supersede business goals, then you will get a new site that fulfills those technology goals. But they may not fulfill your business goals. In fact, they may go against them. So a lot of times we'll see people, this happens a lot because there are buzzwords in this area in marketing technology. And so, there's been this push towards, one of the recent ones has been headless, right? So sometimes someone will come in and say, we want a headless store. And the truth is that's, they may need one, but that may not be the right thing for their business goal. Unfortunately, we've seen a lot of people come to us after they've done something like that and have regretted it because it wasn't actually the right solution to their problem. It wasn't the right path to their business goal. And then you have to you've wasted a lot of time and money and it's not working for you, and it's it has unintended side effects that maybe we weren't aware of, right? Like it's more costly and it's more rigid and it's harder to manage and it's harder to launch marketing and all these different things. And then it has to be redone, right? So just be really careful about what goals you're setting, what targets you're shooting for when you're making these redesigns. In addition to that, one of the big mistakes that people make is writing an RFP. So kind of going along with this, I understand the practical reason for writing an RFP, right? A request for a proposal, which some businesses do. But the problem with that is it's like walking into the doctor's office and saying, I need a knee replacement. You're walking into a doctor because they know more about this, or you believe that they know more about this thing than you do, and they can help you diagnose your problem better than you can on your own. Otherwise, you wouldn't have walked into that doctor's office. And so if you walk in telling them what you need them to do and just asking, a bunch of doctors, what's the cost of doing a knee replacement, you've now made the decision yourself, but you're not the doctor. At least I'm not when I walk into a doctor. And so the only reason you'd be searching out a partner is because you are looking for expertise that can lead you in that area, right? Because you have your expertise and the only reason to look for a partner, if you're looking for a partner, is so that because they're more experienced in a particular area that you need than you are. And so if that's the case, if you're looking for a partner that is able to lead you, then writing an RFP and oftentimes guessing at what you need in your project can actually lead a bunch of people down the wrong path. right? And so you're going to get a whole lot of people giving you what you asked for, which may not be what you want or what you need. Only you can decide that. But the fact is that what you should be doing, or what works better, is find someone who has the experience of what you need, who can lead you right down the path that you're looking to go. And then ask them to help you create all the how, like the plan and the actions of how to get there. And that's something that we've always focused on, because that is the important thing, right? The thing that you're creating must achieve the goal, or must pursue the goal. And a lot of times, writing an RFP is actually just sort of a waste of time, and ends up leading you down a path that just wastes a lot of time of yours and a lot of other people's time. And so that's number 4, is setting the wrong goals, technology and RFP goals. All right, number 5, forgetting about your customers. Clearly, you're not forgetting about your customers, because your customers are what drives your entire business. But in the redesign, a lot of times, unintentionally, businesses forget about their customers, right? And so we talk a lot about how important brand is, right? How emotion drives decision and logic is used to back that up. How in order to create the right brand, you need to tell the right story. In order to tell the right story, you must know who you're talking to, and not just the demographics of that person, but the psychographics, the reasons they do the things that they're trying to do, right? The reasons they make decisions in life, the things that they're pursuing in life, and how your product fits into that, right? So understanding your customer, we call them customer avatars, e-commerce customer avatars. Understanding those people at a deep level is actually critical in then informing what you do in your redesign, what decisions you make. In fact, if you're trying to achieve a revenue goal, understanding your customers and making decisions based on how they buy and what they need to hear, and what the brand they need to be created for them to hear it is, follow me, right? Doing those things is actually how you'll actually achieve those business goals. And so, but so many times people go into a redesign and maybe delegate it, or just lose sight of the customer and just create a really nice store, right? They just design a store. And it might be a beautiful store, but it might not be the one that actually is optimized for their target customer avatars. So number 1, you have to know who those are. And if you're doing a migration or redesign and you're not digging deep into who your customers are at a deep level first, my suggestion in our process is, first you dig deep into your customers, then you align your brand with your customers. What are the practical things that are going to happen on this website, right? The things that we're going to do to serve these customers in the ways that we understand them best, right? To push the business forward, right? Because it has to make profit, it has to make revenue, it has to make sales, all those metrics, right? What are those things? And then how do you design the customer journey, right? That is not visual design of like web pages and stuff, but like, what are the functions? What's the path? What's the optimal path we're going to bring them through? And then and only then do you start designing things, right? And you do it with that in mind. That foundation is the foundation for success. We call it brand alignment, right? We call it customer avatars. But it's so important to not forget about your customers and to keep that in mind throughout the entire design process. And then something that we often don't see is you want to create a product ascension model. So I've talked before, but there are only 4 products that any e-commerce business has. Every e-commerce business only has 4 products. Most of them are only leveraging 1 product. But if you want to have a truly successful, scalable, profitable e-commerce channel, I won't even call it e-commerce business, it's an e-commerce channel, but it's truly scalable, successful, and profitable product business that has an e-commerce channel, you need to leverage 4 types of products, okay? And most are only leveraging 1 or 2. You need to put those products in a certain ascension model in order to achieve those results. And when you do that, it's funny how the results are almost guaranteed. Now, I can't guarantee any business results for you, but I've seen it so many times that when you align these things together, the most likely result is that you hit the goals that you're trying to achieve, right? When I've worked with the $100 million companies, like these are the types of things they put into play. So a specific product strategy, a specific product ascension model, right? Woven into your design and customer journey, designed for your customers through the customer avatars, aligned with your brand, bringing those things out to create the emotion that is required for someone to make a purchase from you and buy your brand, not your product. And if you're interested in all these different topics, I've talked about all of them, but you want someone to buy your brand, not your product. You're selling your brand, not your product. In order to do this, you must make sure that you don't forget about your customers. That's one of the mistakes that many, many people make, and it's very, very costly. It's very easy, and it's one of the surprises. All right, number 6, looking for a web designer or a web developer or a Shopify developer or et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. This is one of the mistakes, looking for some of these type of people. At the end of the day, what you're looking for, what you should be looking for, who can help you the most is a strategic partner with a lot of experience growing businesses, growing e-commerce based businesses that have skills in web development, web design, customer journey, brand alignment, and all these different things. Like that's the kind of unicorn that you're looking for, because that's the type of person or team that can actually help you achieve those goals, leveraging those tools. But when you set out to look for a web designer or look for a developer, a single person or a single skill, what you end up getting is that skill. Maybe that's okay if you know exactly what you need on your side. You have all that strategic knowledge and ability and experience on your side, and you can guide that person in specifically executing on the thing, right? That you know exactly is going to help you achieve your business goals. But in my experience, most businesses need and would benefit greatly from someone who has deep experience in business to help them design a solution that helps them achieve a certain business goal that they're trying to target. If you're like that, then you need to find someone who understands how to grow a product-based business, build a brand with an e-commerce channel attached to it, and grow that significantly, leveraging your website and the platform and how to do it in a way that, how to migrate from whatever, Magento to Shopify or whatever you're trying to do in a way that helps achieve those business goals. But if you just look for the tactic, then you will probably get a really good tactic, but you might not get something that actually helps you pursue the goals and actually moves the needle on everything else you're trying to do. All right, last one, number 7 mistake. No post-launch or go-live marketing strategy or optimization plan. This is a very common one, and you wouldn't think it would be, right? This is not necessarily a surprise, but so many businesses put so much effort and focus on the transition, the redesign, that they don't really look at what happens the day after, right? And when it comes to various platforms, number 1, you're gonna want to have some sort of support, some expertise. Like if this channel is important to you, like if for most e-commerce businesses, like the e-commerce channel is the channel, right? Like that is where most of the revenue comes from. Now, we work with a lot of brands that have wholesale channels and marketplace channels and all these other things. But in our strategies, it's always best when the e-commerce channel leads it. But regardless, it's a channel that produces revenue, critical revenue for your business. And so having some sort of support plan, some sort of support strategy in place is very important. Not only that, but a growth strategy is very important. And so it's funny how I actually just did a post about this. It's all the secrets of the big guys, right? The things that you don't know. And one of the secrets was the fact that they have their year figured out in advance, right? So they know what they're going to make at the beginning of the year. They do that through an organized marketing calendar, right? It's a specific, it's not really a calendar. It's a strategy on how they're going to achieve a certain revenue number and a certain profit number, right? And so if you don't have a plan for that and a clear plan like that doesn't just go out a couple weeks or a couple months, but actually goes out further than that, then you're not setting yourself up for success. Like once, if you wait till after you launch, you're kind of running in reverse. Like you're playing backwards, you're playing catch up. It's so much better when you can actually go into the migration plan and the redesign with the future in focus, so you can help align what you're doing. It helps change a lot of things. A lot of decisions about how you do things come from the strategy of how you'll actually leverage this thing and use it. And so not having that support and growth plan in place to actually leverage this thing to help it, because the truth is just launching it is not going to bring results. It'll hopefully be a great tool if you've avoided these mistakes, it'll be a great tool. But at the end of the day, that tool has to be used. In order to help it achieve the goal or pursue the goal that you're going after, you must have some sort of plan for using it. Not some sort of plan, like a great plan for using it in place so that you can actually achieve those things. Just to kind of wrap this up, I hope this was helpful for you. Hopefully this helps you avoid some of these mistakes that can be really costly. It's funny how oftentimes when these mistakes happen, when these concepts are avoided, it seems like you're going in and you're saving money. Okay, I've unfortunately had to talk to a lot of businesses after the fact on this, but it seems like you're going in saving money because, maybe you chose the less expensive person or the less expensive route or something. But the truth is you kind of get what you pay for. And if you're not specifically avoiding these mistakes, right, and you think maybe that you can save money on the front end, you end up paying for so much more on the back end, right? And we see these mistakes just become so costly, right? And not only just in money, but in time and in wasted effort and wasted opportunities and all those kind of things really can weigh hard on a business, especially in a growth phase. And so the right thing that I hope this helps you do is, if you are wanting to avoid these mistakes, find somebody who is experienced at growing businesses, e-commerce based businesses, leveraging your migration and your store, who can execute on those things, but has that knowledge in mind. And if you like, we have something called a success plan, which we actually designed specifically for this reason, to help avoid all of these mistakes, to help you plan for your migration, for your redesign, help you see what you should do, what you shouldn't do, what you should invest, what you shouldn't invest, and help you have clarity and confidence in the thing that you're actually marching into, which is, I think, the most important thing if you're a leader if you're trying to migrate, especially if you have any significant revenue running through this. Like, clarity and certainty around what you're doing is so valuable and so important. So we created this thing called the success plan. And the truth is, we only work with a small number of private clients in our business, and we only work with a small number each year. Certain types of businesses who are looking to grow, who have the ability to invest, who have certain things, certain bits of momentum happening right now, and also have certain philosophies on how to do that. For those types of businesses, maybe we're a right fit. And so if you're interested in the success plan and you're someone that is in that 6 to 9 figure plus mark, and you're looking to have serious growth, about increasing your growth and your value, you can learn more about the success plan or more about us at metacake.com. That's metacake.com to see if we're a fit. Thanks, and until next time, never stop growing.